Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use E-Dragons here at Townhall 11 to 3-star any base. So here is the strategy we are going to be using today, and honestly this is by far one of the easiest spam based strategies you can use at Townhall 11, and typically you can get pretty great results with it. So let's jump in and we'll break it down. So there's a couple of things you want to identify when you're coming in with Electro Dragons. The first of which being, are you coming up against a compact base or a spread out base? If you haven't used Electro Dragons before, buildings with a gap of 1 between them, like we have here, a gap of 1 tile, Electro Dragons can chain between. However, a gap of 2 tiles like we have between these two buildings here, the Electro Dragons will not be able to chain between them. Typically you're looking for bases where you've got a lot of buildings fairly compact together, so you're getting lots of chain value all the way through the base. However, bases like this where we have some buildings at 1 and some buildings at 2 typically can still work together very well with E-Dragons. So we'll jump in and we'll break this one down. We're going to be kicking off proceedings with the giant arrow from our queen. We're also going to have the invisibility vial on there. You can also switch that up to the magic mirror or any other real piece of epic equipment, but the invisibility vial is nice because it just allows your queen a little bit more time to help set up that funnel. Now with the giant arrow, there's a couple of key objectives. We're looking 100% to take down one, if not both, of the air sweepers. If you can, definitely get this sweeper that's going to be pointing in the direction you're attacking from. So we're going to be coming in from this side, so if there was one pointing this direction, that's of course the way we are looking to clear it out. Also, if you can catch any other air defenses, for example we had one here, that's going to be a huge bonus. Unfortunately we did miss this one, but it's not the end of the world, we should be able to tidy it up. After that, you're going to allow your queen just a little bit of time to start setting up that funnel. You're in absolutely no rush though. Next up, you're going to start just with one E-Dragon on the opposite side. Typically, you're looking for that to go down on a section of the base where you're going to be able to get chain value from that. Unfortunately here you'll see it's going to get taken down pretty quickly by this air defense, but as long as we can get some chain value, then you should be okay. Next stage of the attack, we're starting with the balloons. We're then going to get all the Electro Dragons in a line behind. You're then going to get that Grand Warden coming on through and make sure he is set to air. We don't want him to be on ground, definitely not. Coming in with a very early Eternal Tome ability, we also have the Life Gem on him. That just helps to boost up the defensive stats of those Electro Dragons, just giving them a little bit more HP. You're then coming in with really early rage spells. You want to make sure they're as raged for as much of this attack as you possibly can. Your Stone Slammer is going to go on this opposite side. You'll see we didn't quite get a good funnel there, so the Stone Slammer is going to go off that direction, help to clean up some of those buildings, trying to maintain some sort of funnel, pushing those Electro Dragons through into the core. Now you of course have multiple rage spells, so you want to continue like we have here to use them as you progress through the base, looking to try and get maximum chain value as much as we possibly can. Now we do also have that Minion Prince, which we're going to make sure we are using typically either through a really heavy section of the base. That includes Inferno Towers, the Eagle Artillery, or even air defenses themselves. You want to try and use this at the optimal time. And typically as you progress towards the back end, you will see things do unfortunately start to fade out. So you need to be careful in trying to use your spells in the correct locations. For us, the freeze spells are really important. Using them on air defenses is absolutely vital, and if you do encounter really heavy clan castle like super minions, dragons and Electro Dragon, you're probably going to want to freeze them up. You typically can also drop a freeze spell for a poison, but I find just having that extra freeze, if it's going to be a ground-based clan castle or something like that, is definitely going to be worth it. But you'll see, this was honestly a very simple spam-based strategy. We have a few more examples, so we'll jump in and break those down. So for the next example, we have a far more spread out base. When I say that, we have multiple compartments at the top here with buildings that are more than 1 tile apart, whereas most of the buildings down on this section are actually pretty close together, and we should be able to get nice chain value through it. So sometimes even if you look at a base and think, okay, I can't E-Dragon that, take a step back, just have a quick look. Okay, we've got buildings that are 1 tile apart here, 1 tile apart here, 1 tile apart here. Our Electro Dragons could chain through all of that, no problem at all. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Kicking off proceedings, coming in with that queen. She's going to be coming down from this bottom section of the base, firing that giant arrow, looking to pick off this air sweeper, because we're going to be coming in from this direction. Of course, trying to take that down. Also able to snag some of those air defences. We do end up taking down 2 air defences in this particular case, and like I said, next thing is going to be creating that funnel just on that opposite side, coming in with Electro Dragon. You could potentially swap out an Electro Dragon for a couple of baby dragons. They would also be able to achieve the same thing, because most of the time the buildings on the outside of the base are not going to be quite as spread out as you might hope. So the Electro Dragon, unfortunately, a lot of the time doesn't get the value you need from it. But continuing to push through the base, like I said, double rage right at the start. You're looking to maximize the amount of damage, especially if you can chain through a lot of those buildings. Let your Stone Slammer just continue to create that funnel where you had that first Electro Dragon coming in from. Make sure that you're pushing the majority of your troops in groups together. You'll see we have one group at the top here and one group down here. You typically, like I said, holding on to that minion principality for the optimal time. That's typically going to be when you're coming in against an air defense. Pushing through the back end of this one, we still have plenty of spell support, so don't be scared to freeze up things like expos that are of course set to air. You can also freeze up the enemy, Grand Warden, enemy Queen, enemy Minion Prince, anything like that's going to be causing any significant damage onto your troops. You can go ahead and freeze up. But this one is absolute overkill. We're going to end up using that Minion Prince ability right there, helping us to get through the back end of this one. The air defense is going to be going down. We have a huge amount of Electro Dragons left up on the back end of this one, and it's absolutely no problem for them to finish it off, even swagging 2 of those free spells. So we'll jump into that final example, showcasing just how strong Electro Dragons are here at Townhall 11. So here we are again with Electro Dragons, and as always, kicking off proceedings with that Queen. Now, we were really struggling to get the really good shot from our Queen here, so we're actually ending up letting her walk a little bit, but unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, so things don't go to plan here. We don't catch either of the sweepers, but we do end up at least catching one of those air defenses over towards the back end over here, so we did get some value, maybe not quite as much as we were looking for though. But again, exact same Electro Dragon on this side, Stone Slammer are going to be coming in on the same side, and then you're spamming in the rest of those Electro Dragons. We've got the double rage coming on through with the help of that Eternal Tome ability. Stone Slammer is always a really good choice. I do see some people using the blimp, but for me it's just not worth it. The Stone Slammer bringing in that extra damage itself, absolutely OP. You can also have different things coming out of your Stone Slammer. In this case we do choose to bring another Electro Dragon, but you can switch that out for things like Dragon Riders, balloons, even a Super Dragon if you feel the need to. In fact, I don't even think you can get a Super Dragon in your CC. A regular dragon and some balloons would also probably do a good job, but this is honestly a very, very strong strategy, and I would highly recommend giving it a go if you haven't already. You do kind of get 2 types of players. You either love Electro Dragons or you hate them, but for me, I don't mind Electro Dragons. I've definitely used them my fair share in the past. I find sometimes they're a little bit too unreliable. It's hard to get them to path exactly where you want them to go because of that chain value. Sometimes they can take down buildings in front of where they're about to path, so you end up kind of having to throw spells all over the place, hope they group back up together. But in this particular case, especially with the addition of the Minion Prince, it actually really boosts this attack. The Barbarian King really doesn't help us out too much, so if you do have that Minion Prince available, his ability is really beneficial for this style of attack, freezing up multiple buildings, of course air defenses being one of the key ones, at a time, allows you to just chain and get lots and lots of value. But this one, again, going to be a little bit overkill, certainly a lot stronger than that first example we did see, but as we finish up, we probably could have swagged that free spell, and we're finishing off with a very nice 3-star. So if you guys did find this video helpful and you want to see more, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to us here at the Barracks, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.